So many people won't believe me that I did this, but honestly, I'm already embarrassed enough. And the fact that I'm telling you guys this story is super embarrassing, but before I get into it, I just want to mention that I'm currently live on Kick streaming right now to you guys, telling more crazy stories just like this one. So if you guys want to watch me live, just click the link down below in the description, kick.com/Bubba, and you guys will see me live hanging out and talking to you guys. But other than that, welcome to today's insane story, and let's just get straight into it. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So as many of you guys may know, I am not gay. I'm 100% straight. I am straighter than probably your own dad, and that I only like women. Now, in no way am I homophobic. I want to mention that real quick before anyone on this channel just kind of gets like a weird vibe from me. I will say this, I'm not homophobic. I am straight up just super straight. And I know that was a meme a long time back that was really inappropriate, so probably that's not the best way to put it, so I apologize. But going on though, I remember back when I was in high school, one thing I realized is that the LGBTQ community was a really big deal in our high school. It was around the time when the movement was really big and that, you know, a lot of people were really coming out of the closet that year. And me, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of in questioning. It sounds weird because, you know, I always tell stories about me doing the devil's tango. But in my mind, I thought, hey, why don't I like, you know, enjoy eggplants? You know, that's the thing about me. I really wanted to decide and really think through, hey, am I gay? So I remember one time I ended up going up to my buddy of mine that was a friend of mine, and I told him, yo, bro, I'm just wondering, have you ever thought maybe you were gay? Kind of seeing if, you know, maybe he thought the same way. I remember he looked at me and he's like, nah, dude, I'm straight, bro. Like, I have a girlfriend. Why in the world would I think I'm gay? And then I told him, like, have you ever thought about an eggplant going inside of you? He ended up looking at me really weird, and then he ended up telling me to basically, off, and yeah, it was super awkward, but I don't blame him. Going on from there, I remember one time I ended up seeing flyers around the school basically quoting that there's going to be an LGBTQ community meeting in our high school. And me, I decided that it would be cool if I maybe went and talked to other people that enjoy getting eggplant up their butts. So I remember basically what I ended up doing is I ended up basically walking up to the flyer, picking up the flyer, and seeing what time it was. Funny enough, for some reason, every day after school, they met in the theater classroom. And me, I took theater back when I was in high school because I used to have a really bad stutter, but that's not the point. Going on, I remember basically I ended up going to the theater class, and when I did after school, I saw that there was a lot of people there. Surprisingly enough, I want to say almost like maybe like 20% of our school was gay, which was really cool because, you know, if I ended up being gay, I'd be part of the 20%. But going on, I remember I ended up walking up to them. I started meeting everyone. I started shaking people's hands and, you know, being nice to them. But then I remember I ended up meeting this guy named Ben. Now, Ben, he was actually a really cool looking dude. And in my mind, I don't know, I wasn't attracted to him, but at the same time, he was a cool dude. And maybe I thought this was one of those moments where, you know, like girls say, oh, it's like more personality. So I thought, hey, maybe his personality is cool enough to put his eggplant in me. So I remember I ended up starting to hang out with him. I basically walked around with him, chilled with him after school, and basically started to really get to know the guy. The guy was really cool, and I remember he ended up looking at me telling me, yo, so Bubba, when did you figure out you were gay? I ended up looking at myself and kind of like thinking, I don't even think I am. But I didn't want to say I was in questioning because obviously, you know, he was probably going to think I'm like some weirdo for hanging out with him and being like, you know, I guess somewhat flirtatious with him. I don't really know, to be honest. I don't understand how guys rizz up other guys. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I remember I ended up telling him, oh, like, you know, when I first saw my own eggplant is what I said. He looked at me super awkward afterwards and said, wait, so you never seen another guys? And I ended up telling him no. And then I remember after that conversation, things got really awkward and we ended up basically, you know, going back to our own homes. I remember I was hopping on Xbox playing games, and out of nowhere I ended up getting a Snapchat though. It was from Ben, and Ben was a really cool dude. And basically I remember what ended up happening was I ended up getting a photo from him of him literally being, well, his eggplant. He was literally holding it in a photo and sent it to me, and I was absolutely disgusted. I don't know why. I realized at that moment that I am probably more straight than the average male. And I remember basically I ended up texting him saying, yo, bro, not gonna lie, that was really out of pocket. Because, you know, I wanted to say, like, you know, who sends a person a eggplant photo out of nowhere? He ended up messaging me back saying, hey, like, do you ever want to like do the devil's tango? And then afterwards I ended up telling him no, because that was super weird and super out of nowhere. And then afterwards I basically realized that I am straight and I want to stay that way. I remember the next day though, I ended up going to school, and as I was walking to school, I remember out of nowhere there was a van that was parked outside my school. Now I didn't know what this van was, nor did I really care for it, but I remember as I was walking past it, out of nowhere the door opens and they grab me and they bring me into the van. It was these two guys wearing random masks. It was like a rainbow mask, and I was super confused. And when we were driving going somewhere, I remember one of the guys ended up taking off their mask, and it was Ben. Ben had a mask on and he kidnapped me. Like, what? in a van? I remember I started looking around, but the other guy wouldn't take off his mask, and the guy driving wouldn't take off his mask either. And basically, I remember I was in the backseat with Ben looking at him, and I was like, bro, why did you kidnap me? He ended up saying that he wanted to turn me gay, so he basically ended up telling me that I should basically give him a head. Yeah, YouTube, don't demonetize this video. Trust me, the story makes sense later on. I remember I started freaking out, telling him no and stuff like that. But then afterwards, he ended up basically saying, if I don't do it, I'll never see my family again. And at that point, I realized I had to do it. Now, I know a lot of you guys are thinking, no way you did this. The story makes no sense. And trust me, I know. But I had to do it to see my family. My family comes first. So then I started doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, I went throw goat McGee. I was doing the Gluck Gluck 9000 on this guy named Ben. And then right where I thought things couldn't get worse, it did. Because I remember what ended up happening was I ended up basically looking at Ben saying, okay, I'm done. As I'm wiping my mouth. And he looks at me saying, Baba, I never told you my full name, did I? I ended up looking at him telling him, what? And he ended up saying, my name is Bend Over. And then he ended up bending over. And at that point, I realized that this whole story was literally just for April Fools. And I just fooled all you guys, because if you guys really thought that I was going to give head to anyone, you are mind blown and you need special help. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories. Also, watch my kick stream. I'm live right now. Peace out, guys.